Welcome to the 260 podcast. I am your host, David Russell. Here today we have comedian and local boy does good, Jamarcus JT Turner. Jamarcus has been working for two seasons on Bob Hart's
Abishola.
Abishola as the story editor. Last season he was a writer on the show.
Yep, staff writer.
He was a staff writer. He is also a stand-up comic. As I said, he hails from Fort Wayne, and basically, JT, how did you get your started? How did you get your start in comedy?
Okay,
Right out of Fort Wayne.
my in comedy writing, I got my start because I'm on Twitter all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I've always loved telling jokes and stuff. I always wanted to do this stuff, but I never got up on stage. I never really wrote anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it was January of 2020, like January 1st of 2020. And this writer and comedian who had been following me on Twitter for like a couple years DM me. He was like, "Hey man, what do you do?" And I was like, "Oh, I build plastic tanks in Indiana. What's up?" Like, I didn't understand what he even wanted to talk. Like, I mean, we had never DM'd each other. It was just more like, he'd say something funny, I would laugh. I would say something funny, he would laugh. Maybe
He liked your comedy.
yeah. And
Yeah.
so we would just go back and forth like that a little bit. And so he did when he DM'd me, I was just like, "Oh shit." And so he bought me a book about writing, and he bought me a program for my computer to write. It's called Fade In,
Mm-hmm.
and he was like, "Write something." And I was like, "Okay, cool." And so I wrote about my life, and I sent it to him, and he was like, "This is terrible. Rewrite it." And I was like, "All right, great." And I rewrote it again. He was like, "This is less terrible, but rewrite it again." And I rewrote it again.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, "All right, this is all right. Now you know the basic structure of what you need to do. Now write something else." And I wrote something. I started writing a different pilot. It was called Watcher,
Mm-hmm.
and I really liked it. It wasn't about my life. It was about I like writing about like strange world. People in Hollywood ask me often, like, "Well, when are you going to write your story?" And I was like, "I really want to write about aliens that want to like do it, but the parts don't match." You know what I mean? But they parts just don't match up. That's what I want to write about. I don't really feel like writing about a guy in a factory losing his mind because he wants to be doing other stuff. I've lived that. I don't need to write it. And so I wrote something crazy, and I sent it to him, and then he was like, "Can you talk?" And so we got on Zoom, and he was like, "This is good. This is actually really good. Keep this in case you need it." And I was like, "Great." And so I kept it, and then a year later, there was again on Twitter, it
Mm-hmm.
comes through as John Stewart. The problem is looking for writers, right? And they're doing a nationwide search and doing blind submissions where you can just send in the packet.
Mm-hmm.
And if they pick you, they're not going to know who you are. They're not going to know if you're one of their friends or one of their foes or anything like that, right?
Okay.
If they pick you, then you go to the next round. And I was like, well, this will be a fun exercise. I'm working 50, 60-hour weeks in this factory here. I'm bored all the time. I need something for my brain to do. I'll do this packet. So I send in the packet, and I make it to the next round, and then I make it to the next round, and I make it to the round after that.
Well, what was that first feeling?
It was cool. It was like, oh,
Is
okay.
there like a validation?
Well, I never thought I was gonna win, so I thought like, oh, that's cool. It was good enough to make it to the next round of this. That's great. Now, they're being real nice. You know what I mean? Or I made them laugh a little right there. So but by the time I got to the third round, I was like, well, dang, I might be a good writer. I might be okay. I might be better than I thought I was. And they sent me an email, and they told me that they were not going to hire me. And I was like, okay, well, cool. I never expected to be hired anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, all right, well, cool. Well, I appreciate y'all taking the time. And then the head writer emailed Chelsea Devantes, who is an excellent writer. It was also the head writer for that show, that first season.
Mm-hmm.
And she emailed me, and she said, hey, we really like your writing. I would love to send some of it to an executive. Do you have something I can send? And so I had the pilot that I had written that, had got a good reaction. So I was like, yeah, I got this. So I sent that on a Sunday night. She sent it Monday morning to some executives she knew. And by Wednesday morning, I had a meeting scheduled with Disney. They had read the script and passed it around their office, and they really loved it. And they were like, they really wanted to meet the crazy person it clearly had to be a crazy person who had written it. And so I met with them, and they liked me. And then they started telling people they like me. And so producers started hitting me up, and they like me. They would talk to me, and they like me. And then they start telling people they like me, and then agents and managers start hitting me up. And I was like, oh, because they realize I'm probably about to make some money, writing.
Yeah.
So, that's how the ecosystem works. You can't, the in-betweens are important. And so so I picked an agent and a manager, the best. I'm with APA, and I'm with Anthony Lapito
Mm-hmm.
over at Heroes and Villains, and they're excellent team that I have around me. They do everything I ask them to do, and I really appreciate that. And so I picked them, and about 2 weeks, a week after I picked them, they hit me up and it was like, look, this is like an audition kind of. You're gonna go interview for this job. Now you're not gonna get this job. They only hire 60-year-old white dudes. It's a Chuck Lorre show because they tell you, it's a Big Bang Theory, Two and a Half Men, Two Broke Girls. Mom, all of these shows that Grace Under Fire, Mike and Molly, and so it's the same guy. It's in that lineage,
Mm-hmm.
right? So they go, hey, look, they're not gonna hire you. They only hire 60-year-old white dudes. It's just how it works. But this will be good experience for you to go out and interview for this show. And I was like, all right, cool. And then I got it. I got the job, and so I've been working there since.
Broke through that ceiling.
I mean, it didn't feel like a ceiling. I think the ceiling for me was like dying slowly in those factories every single day for 17 years. This part was, I don't want to say it wasn't hard, but it wasn't the hard. I had a job where I was crushing cinder blocks with a sledgehammer for 10 hours a day, making $10 an hour. That was a hard job. That felt like a ceiling I was hitting. You know what I mean? So this did not. It felt like right. It feels natural. The stand-up part.
That's what I guess I meant about that validation part. When did like a person may work in a factory like that, but things keep hitting that wall, and they start to feel like, well, maybe this is the best I got. You broke through that, and at some point, it seems like when others showed interest in your work, you had to have that thought like, okay, I'm not the only one think that I'm talented.
Well, I have an enormous ego already. I do. I have a massive ego. I also have a superiority complex for sure, which is not like the greatest values to have when you're working in a factory with a bunch of people if you think you're better than them. You know what I mean? To thinking that you like that is not the guy people like hanging out with at the factory, which is fine because I wasn't hanging out with them anyway. What I'm saying is that if you have me having a massive ego already, there's nothing they could tell me where I'd be like, really? Like that's not. I already think I'm dope.
You already
there's
like you were the
you
smartest
can't.
person in the room.
There's no way to make me think I'm doper than how dope I already think I am. There's no way for you to say something to me where I'm just like, man, I feel good all day. No, I feel good all day already. I'm 6'3" and I'm in excellent shape and I'm handsome and I got all my hair and I'm almost 40 and I can grow a full beard. Like, you know what I mean? It's not, there's not a lot of bad stuff in my life where I'm like, there's just things aren't going well for JT. It's like, no, things usually go pretty good for me. I expect to win. I'm a winner.
I can tell that. I can tell that. And I'm sure our listeners can too. How does it feel being back in your hometown?
It feels great. I love Fort Wayne. Fort Wayne is a very special place, and it's hard to explain to people outside of Fort Wayne because they wouldn't believe the talent pool that's here. They wouldn't believe all the talented people that's here. People that are in the middle of it, that are in it. They go, well, I'm trying to do my thing and nobody's supporting me. I'm trying to do my thing and nobody's supporting me. Everybody's telling the same story. They're trying to do their thing and nobody's supporting them. Well, it's a city of 280,000, 320,000 people. It's not a huge city.
With a lot of factory workers.
Exactly, with a lot of factory workers and a lot of people who want to do their thing and a lot of people who want to make it out of that and a lot of people who want to do something different. And instead of being able to lend their support to you, they have to focus on doing their thing and getting back to that factory. Yep. And those are the two things they have time for. So you have to do your thing on your own. And that kind of makes people feel like, well, I don't have any support. Fort Wayne will love you if you make it somewhere else. Yeah. They will embrace you if you make it. And there's nothing wrong with that. But if they're not like blatantly shown like, no, this person has actually risen above this. They're in a new level. They're in a new plateau. Fort Wayne gonna treat you exactly how they treat it. Well, I'm trying to get my thing off the ground. What difference is it? He don't make no difference. Why is he different? Like, you got to show them why you're different. You got to show them, and not like you're better, just different. You have to show them why you're different. And if you do, then they will embrace you. That's what I love. That's why I do Fort Wayne's Finest, this comedy show that I come back and I do here every year. It's at the Arts United Theater every year. It's going to be every year. It's a beautiful, beautiful venue. I had it there last year. I knew it was going to be a beautiful venue. It's not very well used for a lot of other stuff. And it's just the perfect spot for the kind of thing that I'm doing, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's why I chose it, because it's an underrated venue. That's why I choose the comics that I choose, is because I know people don't know about these talented people because they don't have time to go out and search out these talented people. They're trying to get their own thing off the ground. So it's my job to show them these talented people. I can't wait to show them. I got a little name for myself doing the stuff that I'm doing, which is great, because now I get to come back here and I get to go, well, if you think I'm funny, you know who else is funny? And then I get to show them these people that usually only get to go to like bars, or you have to drive to Michigan to do a set. And people love you.
Yeah.
Imagine driving 2 hours to go to Michigan to perform in front of a room full of strangers, and they adore you. They love you. And then you come back to Fort Wayne and you're performing in front of 8 people at a bar. That's what happens. That's what the stand-up scene. It's not like it's a bad scene. There are extremely funny people here. They're the opportunity to perform in the capacity that I'm providing is very limited.
Yeah, I see what you're saying about the size of Fort Wayne. It's to me it's a percentage game. You're only gonna get so many people out of all of society that enjoy your stuff or go out of their way to enjoy your stuff. If that's 5% and you're only starting with 200,000, that's not a lot of people. You go to Detroit where you're looking at over 1 million. That's a bigger pool to even begin to work with.
Or LA.
Or
And people
LA
show up
or
for stuff in LA
Chicago.
all the time
Yeah.
because everybody in LA ain't trying to get off the ground and get their stuff going. It's just people just living in LA.
Mm-hmm.
They want to come to a show. They like, yeah, I go. They sell out everything all the time there because there's people visiting and there's people who live there who just need stuff to do. And this is the stuff that they're gonna be doing. Fort Wayne, it's an extremely talented place. It is, and it's got a lot of talented people, and it's just hard. If they like, I've also learned that people like being close to things. So it hurts somebody's feelings when you go, I'm a rapper, come to my show. I'm gonna charge you $10. Come on, and people don't show up.
Mm-hmm.
And then another rapper, a rapper that they don't know that's from TV, comes to town and they sell $500 tickets, and the same people who wouldn't give them $10 is selling their shoes to get a $500 ticket to go see this rapper, rap. And they go, that really hurts people's feelings. They really don't understand why that happens. It's like, look, you have to set yourself outside of the people that are already trying to get them to come to a rap show. You have to get outside of Fort Wayne and build a name big enough that when you come back here, they go, I want to be next to that. I want to be next to this person. I want to get this person's signature just in case they do something good. I want to be at this show so I can say I was there when it happened last year. And there's no shade against B. Simone at all. There's a comedian named B.
Mm-hmm.
There's a funny actress named B. Simone, right?
Yeah.
And last year she had a show on the same day that I had my show here in Fort Wayne's Finest, right? I'm in a theater, commercials, all this. I've been running all this stuff, and she is at Summit City out there. Used to be the old Snickers, right?
Yeah.
And she sold out her shows. I sold a third of my tickets to my show, and she sold out her show. And there was people that I know personally who were showing clips from the B. Simone show that they were at instead of coming to my show. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's not because B. Simone is funnier. I'm not going to take from that as like B. Simone is funnier than me. I don't think that that's the case. I think it's people like being close to stuff that they know. They like, I saw her on TV.
Yeah.
I want to be close to that.
She's got more name recognition.
Yeah. She's like, they like being close to stuff. That's why an internet personality or celebrity can come here and sell out a room even if they don't have an act to put together because they want to be close to it. They like, I've seen you on Instagram. I've seen you on TikTok.
Yeah, almost like it's contagious. They want.
People want to be a part of things. People like being a part of things, and if they feel like they're a part of something, them having something else going on takes a second seat to them wanting to be a part of something and be involved. Or maybe they think, like if they're involved with it, then they'll also get their thing going. Or maybe they'll see something from somebody who got something going and go, okay, this is what I need to do now. I see, they just want to get close to stuff. Mm-hmm. And so the brighter you shine, the more people will want to cozy up to you because they want to stay warm. They're not going to try to be their own sun. They're going to be near you. They're going to try to, and then the more people try to get warm near you, the more money you make. So just shine bright. If you shine bright enough people will gravitate towards you. People become planets. Everybody want to be a star, but some people are planets.
So there you have it, listeners. Be near talent, and it'll help show off your talent. And we definitely have a talented young man here right now, Jamarcus JT Turner. And we're going to take a short break, and we'll be back to ask him a couple more questions.